Hey guys, Crewman coming at you with another pool test video. This video is going to be different than the last few pool test videos as I actually tested 4 pools this time and not 2. I did 2 on Kaspa and I did 2 on Nexa. So in this video I'm going to go over the pools I used, the results that I got from the pool test, what I think about these pools, what I would recommend, and then what I plan on doing for the next round of pool testing. So let's get to it. So for Kaspa, I'm testing Kryptex pool versus woolypooly pool. Now I know there have been some serious issues with woolypooly pool, especially with their Kaspa pools. So I just wanted to circle back around to them and see if they are still on the up and up. And then with Nexa, I'm going back to the technically second pool, but the first one I ever started using when Nexa was just starting out on GPU mining, our plant pool. And I want to see how they're doing versus the new kid on the block, Kryptex pool. So I ran these 4 comparisons. I ran them for 7 days. I finished the pool test yesterday for April 9th at noon, and I want to share with you my results. But before I do that, I want to go over my test bench that I was using just so you guys can see the setup that I was testing everything on. Alright guys, here's the bench that I'm using to test the pool. So this is the last week I will be using this specific setup. After that, it's going to be changing. What it's going to be changing to, I'm not 100% sure on, but I will be starting the next pool test probably around Wednesday of next week. I'll be taking a 3-day pause as I rearrange some things, but let's go over it. We've got the two 3060 Ti's. They are both on Nexa, and the two 3070s are both on Kaspa. They're both the same brands. I actually got these at the same time. The hash rate's basically the same on them, which also proves that the models don't really matter. I guess the only difference is the coolers. As you can see, I've got one of each on this computer and then one of each of them on this bench. So here's the benches, and you can see what they look like, and let's get to the results. Alright, so now that you guys have seen my test bench, let's show you the results of the pools. So let's start off with the Nexa pools first. Alright, so with Nexa, you can see we tested our plant and Kryptex. With Nexa, remember, it does not pay until 7 days or 5,000 confirmations is the standard for how the coin is mined. Our plant follows that standard. I stopped this test a little bit after 7 days, as you can see, because I got about 10,406 Nexa paid. I've got about 111,549 in mature with a balance of 3,028 Nexa for a total of 121,956 Nexa. Fiat value of about $3.03. Nothing crazy there. Our plant's working as intended and just pays off the standard Nexa payoff. Then we do have Kryptex pool, which will pay faster. However, I only have 1 GPU on it right now for this testing purpose, and it took a little bit to get to the threshold. I had it at 200K. I wasn't really paying attention to it. I dropped it down to 100, and I got paid shortly after I changed it. So I'm going to try for the next test to lower it to about 50 and see if they pay even faster. But as you can see, I got about 122,551 Nexa, and that is worth $3.04. So you can see the difference is less than a cent as far as fiat value, and like 1,000-ish Nexa, give or take, difference. So basically it comes down to, do you want to use a bigger pool like our plant, which does have a very solid interface for the record, or do you want to use Kryptex, which also has a very solid interface but pays faster and is a smaller pool? So I mean, it's basically apples to oranges. I mean, it's not that much difference. Personally, I would use Kryptex just because you get paid out faster, and it's always, in my opinion, good to spread the hash rate around. But you guys use what you're comfortable with. I mean, the point of this pool test is to make sure there's no nefarious actors, and as you can tell, they're both basically the same. Let's move on to Kaspa. Alright, for the Kaspa results, you can see we're testing woolypooly and Kryptex. Now, woolypooly had a big problem underpaying people with Kaspa. It was way worse than Nexa. I thankfully was not on woolypooly with Kaspa at the time, but I know it's worth following up on them to make sure that they're on the up and up. So, as you can see here, as far as Kaspa goes, there's no crazy payout rules like Nexa. So for woolypooly, you can see that I've got 94 Kaspa, or $3.06. The minimum payout was 200. I changed it to 100. For Kryptex, I got 97 Kaspa, for $3.10. The minimum payout was $100, and as you can see, it's basically within the margin of error. You're looking at like 4 cents difference total. We know woolypooly had terrible problems with short paying people on Kaspa, and there were a lot of issues. So for that alone, I would not recommend using woolypooly. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So we should learn, and honestly, there is no reason to use woolypooly. You never know, unless you want to constantly be testing this to make sure they're not scamming you. I would recommend Kryptex just for that alone. That was my pool test. Now, in conclusion, I want to point out something that's very, very interesting. Now, I used 3060 Ti's on Nexa and 3070s on Kaspa, which have a closely similar yield. They're not obviously the same. 3070 is more powerful. But what is interesting to note is Kaspa uses a lot less electricity than Nexa. These things took about 80 watts, 70 to 80 watts, I'd say about 80 to mine, versus the GPUs on Nexa, which are about 110 watts. So that's quite the difference. And if you look at the profit per week, I mean, it's basically the same. So what I'm saying is, unless you have a very specific reason to mine Nexa, as in, you believe in it more, you want the yield of Nexa, I would probably recommend mining Kaspa. Or if you have a similar power rate like me, where for me it makes sense to actually leave some on Nexa because it actually lowers my power bill a little bit, if that makes sense. And also, as I've talked about and I screened about from the high heavens, if whatever you're mining, Kaspa or Nexa, you need to be mining a magical third coin with it, known as ZIL, because you are getting 15 to 20% additional profits. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped. For the next Kaspa and Nexa test, I'm going to be switching up my rigs, and I'm going to be running a lot more pools at once. I'm going to be doing 4 to 6 pools for Nexa, and I'm going to be testing K1 pool, which is the pool that I recommend for Kaspa, against other pools weekly, just so we can see the difference in yields. So I'm going to be doing a lot of work updating my test benches. The next test video will come probably in a week and a half, maybe. It's going to be a little longer, as I'm going to have my test rigs down, because I'm going to be totally changing up the way I test. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I know your time is valuable, so thanks for spending it with me, and I hope this helps you. I mean, we need to keep these pools honest, and I'm going to be constantly monitoring them, and the instant I see some shady stuff going on, you will all know about it. All right, guys, Recruit Man out.